وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Just inshallah ta'ala a short insight into an ayah and a hadith. One hadith comes in the sunnah, the ayah comes in the Quran, and from the outside, by looking at it, there seems to be a contradiction. So I wanted to share this with you and then solve that contradiction. Now, in many places in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, for example, Surah Al-A'raf, وَنُودُوا أَن تِلْكُمُ الْجَنَّةُ الَّتِي أُورِثْتُمُوهَا بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. So Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says that the believers on the Day of Judgment are called out. وَنُودُوا, they're called out, and Allah Azza wa Jalla says to them, تِلْكُمُ الْجَنَّةُ أُورِثْتُمُوهَا. This is the paradise, enter it. You have inherited this paradise. You have entered this paradise بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ, because of what you used to do of good deeds. So this ayah, apparent ayah, means that you've entered the paradise because of your good deeds. In other ayat, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, أُدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Enter the paradise because of the good deeds that you used to do. In Surah At-Teen, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ. For those who believe and do righteous good deeds, for them, especially on the Day of Judgment, would be an ajr, a reward that is described as غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ. غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ meaning it's a reward that never stops. And the reward that never stops basically is the paradise. For once you're in there, it's forever. Now, this is what the ayat, according to the ayat, the understanding is that you enter the paradise because of what you've done, because of the good deeds. Now, there comes an issue when we read in a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in where he said that none of you, once he was with his companions, and he said to them all, none of you would enter the paradise by their deeds. No one. No one deserves to enter the paradise because of their good deeds. And then they asked him, even you, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for he said, وَلَا أَنَا, even me, إِلَّا أَنْ يَتَغَمَّدَنِ اللَّهُ بِوَاسِعِ رَحْمَتِهِ وَبِرَحْمَةٍ مِّنْهُ وَفَضْلٍ. Except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestows His mercy upon me, then only I'll enter the paradise, and all of us will enter only by the mercy of Allah. So the hadith basically, it teaches that lesson, that no one will enter the paradise by their deeds. And in the Quran, Allah is saying, He calls out to the believers, enter the paradise because of what you used to do, of good actions. So how do we sort of reconcile between the hadith and the ayah? You see, we need to understand something first. And that is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't in need of our worship. That's something we know. He doesn't benefit from our worship, nor is He harmed by our worship. Whether we worshipped Him or we didn't, He's always praised and He's always Al-Hamid. Allah Azza wa Jal calls Himself Al-Hamid. He's Al-Ghani. He's Al-Ghani, meaning He's Al-Mughni and Al-Ghani. He's rich and He's the enricher. So He enriches people, and He's enriched and in need. He's in no need at all for Himself. So He's in no need of your worship, and even if you worship, He doesn't benefit from that. So if that being said, how is it then said on the Day of Judgment that the believers enter the paradise because of their good deeds? How do we reconcile the hadith and the ayah? What that means is that you and I don't deserve to enter the paradise with our good deeds. Even if you worship Allah Azza wa Jal, your entire life you are in sujood. And if your entire life was just worship to Allah, and you did not come close to the sayyat, and you knew nothing about the sayyat, it's still not enough. As much as you do, and as long as you do it for the ibadah, it will never be enough. But what the hadith means, and the ayah bringing them together, means that you and I don't deserve to enter the paradise by our good deeds, but it is because of Allah's mercy upon us that He admits us to the paradise by our good deeds. This is the understanding. So in essence, your good deeds weren't the key to the paradise. It was Allah's mercy that He allowed you to enter the paradise by your good deeds. For this is the understanding between the ayah and the hadith. So what that means is that when you do our ibadah, you need to understand that it's only because Allah's mercy that you're entering the paradise because of this hasana. Not because the hasana itself granted you the paradise. It's the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal that He accepted this hasana and allowed this hasana to give you the paradise. So that being said, one still has to do the hasanat and not just sit down and say, oh look, it's not the hasanat that get me to the paradise. No, that plays an important role. Your hasanat play an important role because it's with your actions that you enter the paradise. But the understanding is that it's by Allah's mercy that He accepts your hasanat to admit you to the paradise. This is the understanding between the ayat and the hadith. And in that, there's an encouragement for one to do a lot of good, for one to never let go of the hasanat, of the good. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Inshallah ta'ala, tomorrow we can discuss some other time. What's آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and why does this always come in the Quran? Because Allah Azza wa Jal made that a condition to enter the paradise. And it's all in the Quran. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتِ. Then إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونٍ, which is the paradise. So it's always these two things that Allah would say, if you commit to this, you have the paradise. So what is, inshallah, what is al-iman and what is عَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ? And why did He say عَمِلُوا not فَعَلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ? Inshallah ta'ala, we can share this in the next lesson. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us people of hasanat, people of the paradise, people of the Quran. We ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us people who benefit from the reminders of the Quran. إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.